Greetings and good evening, Crosscore. It's currently 9:19 p.m. on the 8th of February, the night before that of episode 120 with Indonesian brutal death metal band Mariontopsy. Really enjoyed this session. I really did. The boys and me have been in talks for quite a bit afterwards regarding recommended artists, getting this piece together for y'all, getting the Crosscore Patreon exclusive version of this session ready for y'all, which will be ready sometime later this week. I kind of ran out of time to get that done. But in reference to Mariontopsy and their record label, Pathologically Explicit Recordings, also the same record label as our good friends in Eden Adversary, and another band that we've been in talks with for a long time, just haven't hosted, Anthropophagus Depravity. And there's a new band who their member has reached out to us. The band is Descend to Me. All Pathologically Explicit Recordings artists. I wanted to proudly announce tonight, after so long, 5 years of doing this show, we finally have a record label sponsoring us. That being Pathologically Explicit Recordings. Now, most likely, there will be a 10-15% discount for merch on the Pathologically Explicit Recordings website, their Bandcamp, I think, for all their merch. I think if they decide to use the code, it will be CROSS, just CROSS, all capitals. But I wanted to thank them for sponsoring this Crosscast, being the first to do it, and I look forward to many future Pathologically Explicit Recordings artists Crosscasts. Enjoy the episode, guys. Later. All right, we are back for the main Crosscast session we're back to Indonesia, okay, with the help of Mariontopsy. We have Ranna, we have Bies, and we have Riry from Mariontopsy, a Indonesian slam deathcore band that are not only have we been in contact with this band for some time, wanting to get them on the show, wanting to host them and tell their stories as soon as possible. But on top of all of that, I can go ahead and go back in time via the Anatomy Crosscast chat to November 20th of 2025. And that is more or less when we started talking with this band. I'm sure that there are prior chats, but this band has a new album out. Not out yet, sorry. But they're preparing to release a new album called O Luna Vile, and that will be coming out February 10th of this year. I'm excited for it. The album cover looks sick. They are releasing it through Spanish record label Pathologically Explicit Recordings. I'm looking forward to this. This should be really, really fun. So, as we get this Crosscast kick-started, we dive into the people part of the podcast. This will be the part of the Crosscast where we learn about the personal stories of the members available to us today, and most likely, as it is already pretty late over for them in Indonesia, we will most likely only be tackling the first session, the first third of the main Crosscast, and later on in time, possibly closer to that of the release of their new album, that is when we will be handling the rest of the session. That way they're not, staying up until closer to midnight. So, in session with us today, we have drummer Ranna, we have Bies, and then we have Riry. So, with that in mind and the order that we improvised in the Crosscore Patreon exclusive segment, Ranna, we want you to go first and go ahead and tell us what you do for the band just one more time, and then go ahead and tell us maybe a fun fact you think about yourself.
Alright, well, I play drums for Mariontopsy. I recently joined the band February last year, I think.
Really?
I think.
I don't get that.
Okay.
And yeah, and fun fact, I'm actually Australian.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why his English better than us.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I was kind of noticing that. I just didn't want to be like, wait, is he from somewhere else? Or like, is he just speaking English really well? I'm like, I can't say that. But all right, cool. Ranna, thank you. Bass, you're next, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm bass and I play bass. And I'm the one of the founding member of this band. Yeah. Okay.
Sweet. That's pretty simple.
And the fun fact is I'm taller than others.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Riry?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready playing guitar. I'm doing with BS make
Yeah.
the whole concept for Mariontopsy, make everything.
Yeah,
Cause yeah,
oh, yeah. I'm really we make the music, the concept of the visual, the
yeah,
artwork,
the visual, the artwork, the whole music, and yeah, everything maybe. And the fun fact maybe is
He never used speak. he never used speak guitar.
yes, yeah. That's true.
Okay.
I never use pick guitar. So just play with my
Nails?
Yeah.
finger.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I've
No,
known...
nobody use pick guitar.
Yeah, I've known a couple guitarists. I know, what was it? When I was doing a guitar class in high school, our teacher had some pretty long, gnarly nails as well, like longer than yours, and he would just use that instead of a pick, and we're like, that's a little weird, but you know, if it works, it works. So if it works, it works. Now, if I can actually quote you, I know that Bies, he has Visceral, or he's wearing a Visceral shirt. So, Riry, what is the band that you're currently wearing?
So this is Mannequin Gortari.
Mannequin Gortari.
My previous band.
Okay.
Mannequin Gortari. It's
Okay, sweet. And if anything, let's see. Let's go ahead and just for the sake of it, Mannequin Gortori, right?
yes, Mannequin Gortari.
Is that another effort, another project local to? Yeah, I think so, right? Slamming Brutal Death Metal. Are they also located and based over in Indonesia? I'm seeing a lot of kanji on their merch. Okay. No, that's cool. That's actually really sick. So,
Don't check the
it's a 3-person project too, Slamming Brutal Death Metal, and they have a album out, I think. Either an album or no, single called Beka. Okay. No, it's cool. I just wanted to make sure to recognize and provide spotlight to a logo that I saw on someone's shirt that I hadn't seen before. You know, like that could easily be a opportunity in the future. But it looks like a pretty fucking awesome project. So perhaps we can bring them on in the future. Oh, they only have a single out. Okay, so they're just getting started. Okay, cool. So I take it you are connected with them, or at least you guys are connected with them.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's awesome.
I am the ex-member of Mannequin Gortari, actually.
Oh shit. Well, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, that's the
That's badass. Okay, cool. Well, in that case then, let's go ahead and continue with the commentary after attempting to provide spotlight to even just merch being worn. We haven't really done that before. Could be a fresh means of getting introduced to some other artists and doing some research in real time while multitasking and continuing conversation. So, Ranna, let's go ahead and start with you, sir. Take us back in time and just take about like 10 to 20 minutes, or really as long as you think that it might take, to go back to the very beginning of you becoming a drummer and you becoming a music enthusiast. As fun fact, that this is definitely something I want to learn about, your journey being originally from Australia and then coming over to Indonesia. Go ahead and tell us about how you got into drums, any side projects or bands you were in previously, as a lot of bands usually need drummers, and then tell us about everything leading up to you joining Mariontopsy and making this big life change in moving to Indonesia. Please and thank you, sir.
Right, so if I'm not mistaken, I think I started playing drums when I was 12. And then later on I studied at a music school, like a vocational high school, which focuses on classical music, so like orchestral stuff. And then I also have another band, a hardcore band, from people that I went to school with. It's called Doom. So I started getting into hardcore music. And then later on, I think I saw George from Nile. And it got me like hooked on to like metal. And then I started learning blast beats and shit like that. And then how I joined the band is from a mutual friend. His name is Algie. He plays drums also for a band called Vortex of Hatred.
Okay.
Which he recommended me to these guys. And then, yep. And then we tried a rehearsal session, and then they were like, yep, let's go.
Yeah, let's go,
Yeah.
let's go.
Okay. So then the process of you getting associated with the musicians you now play with, that happened pretty quickly then. And not only that, but around what year would you say that this ended up occurring? Because that was pretty
Like me.
quick.
So I think it was early 2025 I joined the band.
Okay.
But before that, I had a hardcore band. And then, yeah, just from then on, I started playing drums more seriously. Yeah.
Cool. So then in that case, this is definitely a fresher thing for you, joining Mariontopsy and then preparing to unleash this new record, Oh Luna Vile. Do forgive me as well. I'm trying to multitask in the means of taking notes while I'm talking to you guys, because I used to do that, and it was really fun to do. And I think it tells the audience that I'm, trying to more intimately pay attention. So, Ranna got inspired to do blast beats by the Nile drummer, I guess.
Yes.
And
George Clive.
Okay. Now, and then you had a hardcore band, maybe more local to you before you joined Mariontopsy?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a high school band.
Right. High school band.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And when did you end up making the decision to move from Australia to Indonesia, or are you like temporarily there right now? Like, what's the situation with that, if we can inquire, if we can ask?
Sorry, the story short is I was born there, and then my parents brought me to Indonesia, and then I just basically, yeah.
Okay. See, I totally thought it was like, I'm going to move to this country to join this band and to participate with them live. I'm like, that's a lot of dedication, man. That's a lot of money. That's cool. So,
Yeah.
Dune, more or less inspired by Nile drummer. Okay. So, obviously you're inspired by Nile. We've gotten that much figured out as far as your inspirations. But is the idea of playing for brutal death metal or even a slam project pretty fresh in the context of joining Mariontopsy? Or did you have experience and inspiration playing for heavier bands similar to Nile before that. Let's go ahead and dig into perhaps any other bands or projects you might have been inspired by as far as getting into playing this more challenging subgenre of metal.
Yeah, so basically, I'm very new to the death metal area, especially slam. And I was like, might as well as try it, and then got into it.
Okay. So, if you could actually then, this is something new, comparing that of your efforts with the other hardcore band that you were doing in high school compared to Mariontopsy, if you could do me a favor, as you went through the trials and error of this, you got sore doing this, you really just push yourself to the limit in this process. What would you say are the major differences in as much intricate detail as possible between playing for a hardcore band and playing for a slam band without really mentioning the actual techniques? Like, if you could get us into what was going on through your head while you were first learning to play for Mariontopsy, what were some of the things that you experienced and maybe some of the things you were imagining that might have helped you get kickstarted in preparing for efforts like O Luna Vile as an album?
Okay, so before I joined the band, I was pretty interested in death metal, so I started learning the hand techniques. I started with the finger technique and then switched to push-pull, which I am currently using. But it was quite a challenge back then. But now it's pretty okay. I can handle it for mid to high tempos, and for my feet, I use the ankle technique. But currently, I'm trying to switch to swivel technique.
And for people who aren't drummers, what does swivel technique mean?
Alright, so swivel technique is basically, say this is your pedal, the footboard, and then this is your feet. So you just swivel it like this.
Oh, whoa. Huh.
Yeah.
See, I'm glad I asked that because I didn't know what the fuck that meant. Like, authentically, I didn't know what that meant at all. So, the farthest I've dove into the mind of a drummer is watching the movie Whiplash with J.K. Simmons.
Ah.
Yeah, and that was a pretty anxiety-inducing movie. Like my fucking tempo, get on my fucking tempo, and like his feet are bleeding eventually, and he's just like dripping sweat and shit trying to get the beat specifically. It's like that was the one movie about music that really stressed me out. Because I'm like, what if I had a teacher like that who made me eventually really, really good, but at the cost of just being a fucking asshole? Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's difficult to think about. But, okay. So now you're trying to dig into the swivel technique as far as drumming. And do you think, what is the goal of you learning swivel technique? Like, what is the purpose of that? Do you think it'll make the music easier to play, or?
I think I'm just trying to get faster with my feet and then be more relaxed so I can hit those high tempos fairly easily.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, while you continue diving into the journey of becoming a brutal death metal / slam drummer, which there are drummers across the scene, really, who are making a name for themselves. I can't quote them by name because I don't know them that well, nor have I spoken with any of them. Peeling Flesh. Their drummer is probably one of the most renowned drummers in slam right now. So other than the drummer of Nile, do you have any other drummers that you are doing homework on and are attempting to study as you become better and better for the sake of Mariontopsy?
Right, I have 3 drummers in mind right now. First one is Eric from Suffocation.
Okay.
Second is David Diepold. He used to be in Obscura. And then, let me think. Ada siapa lagi nih? Jesse from The Artist Murder.
Okay.
Forgot his name. Yeah.
So Suffocation, Obscura, and Thy Art is Murder when it's not
Yes.
vinyl. Okay. And I haven't listened to Obscura, so I wouldn't know that much, but what are maybe some records that you can recommend?
Well, I don't really listen to Obscura, but
Oh.
I like the previous drummer,
Oh, okay. I see.
David. Yeah.
All right. Well, still, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. And then, let's see. Other than music, because this is something I like to ask every now and then, when it is in music in your life, do you have any other hobbies that you do? After all, there are legendary drummers like Jay Weinberg, formerly of Slipknot, now of Suicidal Tendencies, that when they're not absolutely obliterating their kid, he is a painter. He actually likes to paint. That way he can just get his creative ideas out in an alternate medium. So do you have any other hobbies outside of drumming, or is like drumming your kind of like that's your focus right now and you don't really have anything else going on to devote to the craft?
Like, I'm going to say outside of music in general, I have a few hobbies I like.
Okay.
First one is I'm a lover of coffee. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And I love traveling. Those
Okay.
two.
So coffee and traveling, you do need coffee
Yes.
to travel half the time, especially if you want to do cross-country expeditions or something. So in that case, let's go ahead and get into the mindset, the thought process of wanting to explore, wanting to go on expeditions. Have you had the opportunity to go to various places? And if not, what are some of your dream destinations or countries to eventually travel to?
Um, Countries where I want to travel. I really want to go to Greenland and Iceland.
Okay.
Yeah. And just like get to see the places, explore.
Okay. And I mean, yeah, one day perhaps through Mariontopsy, as the Indonesian music community begins to swell and inflate with all of their respective artists, perhaps one day, and perhaps going into the 2030s, if not the later 2020s, there will be more of an opportunity, more of an incentive to travel around the world. So maybe that can be a means of you being able to explore a lot more places is through Mariontopsy. But perhaps it all starts here. Who knows? Well, other than that, I think the only other questions for you, Mr. Ranna, in reference to the people part of the podcast would probably be in regards to location, right? So you were born in Australia and you ended up moving over to Indonesia. So perhaps this is a niche question for you then, as far as location. Um, we usually like to get people's perspective on where they are currently located. Perhaps how, other than Brotherhood and other than the people that you met in that place that you've now spent some time in, we want to know if perhaps your musical efforts have any correlation or connection on a more soulful level to the place you currently live in. Like, do you think that you being a musician, you being a drummer, will always have a connection to the country of Indonesia? And I know might be a weird question to ask, but sometimes I think people's souls and what they create can connect to the place that they live in a special way. So do you see or even vaguely witness this connection within yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. And if so, being that you do, Try to explain to us this connection that you have and this correlation between the music and the place that you live in. Let us know. Let us know. The audience must know.
Right. So, it feels really natural for me, like to play in Indonesia. Chill vibe, chill people, fun crowd.
Fun crowd.
Yeah. I mean, I've like never played drums in Australia before, so
Right.
I can't really say much about that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, still, that's lovely to hear. And in reference to the location questions then, pardon me, need to pull up the questionnaire to be able to quote it. I guess this could be for location in general. What is something that you think that my audience does not know yet about Indonesian culture? I mean, we at one point were told by Agung from Makluk that it's considerably taboo to be in a metal band and to participate in counterculture out in Indonesia. Later on in time, through anointing of the sick, we were told that they are considerably modernized, as the Philippines and most of its culture was based off of Spanish colonization back in the day. And their more respectable integration and melting of cultures together. So what is something that you think my audience does not know yet about Indonesia that they should know?
Indonesian scenes or what?
Oh, in general, like about the country, maybe.
About the country. See.
Indonesian uh, Indonesian people is very polite, I think. Yeah. That's the fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very polite. We have great food with spices.
Spicy.
Spicy food.
Spicy food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Very spicy.
Yeah, Indonesia is the tropical country, so we have so many beautiful beach, uh, mountain, volcano mountain. Yeah, we have. Indonesia is in a ring of fire in the world, so we have I think 1,000 volcano mountain,
Really?
and they are active. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huh. See, that's definitely something we didn't know about before, but I suppose in reference to this ring of fire, that definitely could be something that connects not only Indonesia, but New Zealand as well, because I didn't know that New Zealand had volcanoes until recently. Let's see, ring of fire in war.
Yeah. We have so many volcano mountain, and it's beautiful, but it's dangerous.
Right. Okay. Oh, I see. So I'm seeing right here, and I could easily pull this up on Discord as well, but I totally forgot that the Ring of Fire more or less correlates with the Pacific Ocean. So, I mean, Japan is a part of it. Most of the west coast of the United States, Mexico, and Southern America is a part of it. Alaska as well. So there's a big place, because these are all different trenches and reefs where different tectonic plates converge. But that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot more sense now that I'm looking at it. But yeah, the Ring of Fire is a horseshoe-shaped belt of seismic and volcanic activity that encircles the Pacific Ocean, stretching approximately 40,000 kilometers or 25,000 miles. It is formed by the subduction of oceanic tectonic plates beneath lighter continental plates, creating a series of deep ocean trenches, volcanic arcs, and mountain ranges. This region is home to about 90% of the world's earthquakes, including most of the largest ones, such as the 1960 Valdivia earthquake in Chile, which measured 9.5 on the Richter scale. Additionally, the Ring of Fire contains approximately 75% of the world's active and dormant volcanoes, with over 450 volcanoes identified within the region. So, looking at the images for this then too, which I don't know why I'm just looking at my phone. I'll go ahead and at least pull up something here on screen. But from what I'm seeing, the Ring of Fire, it more or less isolates to the coastlines of the world, or like of the Pacific Ocean. Ring of Fire. Sorry, we're having like a Joe Rogan thing here because I'm trying to make this a little bit more interesting, possibly educational. So, wait, yeah, okay. And then I'll go ahead and go back to this. Share, Chrome tab. Why is that not showing up at all? Goofy. Oh, okay, there we go. Only brief technical difficulties. Okay. And today we're learning. Today we're attempting to visualize our continued education here on the show. But yeah, so yeah, keeping that in mind, I'm only doing this because our two most recent New Zealand local guests have mentioned it. And from what it looks like here, it doesn't really affect that of Australia, but literally everywhere else, Japan, New Zealand, I think, is one of these islands. It's got to be one of them. But yeah, Philippine Trench, so in the Philippines, and we're, more or less... We're in this region of the world right now. We're talking to people from that region of the world right now. I don't mean to be too ignorant. But okay, cool. So y'all have volcanoes. That's something we didn't know about before. Now we can go ahead and get rid of that, and it can be less laggy, hopefully. But thank you for letting me know that, Ben. And then I do believe then that is it 30 minutes? Okay. Let's go ahead and quote Ranna. All time as heavier subgenres of metal are still pretty new to you. Let's go ahead and quote maybe 5 records that were in your regular rotation from last year as you were first joining Mariontopsy and preparing to become a slam drummer.
5 records?
5 records.
Okay, let me think. I used to listen to a lot of Aborted, like last year.
Sick.
Just mix of everything. So just everything in general. And I also listened to Thy Art, Godlike, one of my favorite records.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? Necrophagus, but I've just recently got into that.
He's getting into the tech side of shit. All right.
Yeah. Peeling Flesh, also recently got into that.
Okay.
So I'm not necessarily listening to records, just shuffling the songs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still, it's nice to hear some records being quoted. Oftentimes I think these days you hear more of people listening to singles and listening to like a one song from a bigger effort as opposed to even being able to quote the name of an EP or album. So that's the reason I asked that question, is to just see if you are knowledgeable of the bands you listen to as well as their discographies. But of course, if you also happen to partake in more than one song on an EP or record, I think that's also pretty nice, as I am definitely a album listening guy, have been for a long time, and that's most of the content on my channel, really. So on my main channel, Sean Cross. All right, Ranna, thank you, sir. I think that will be all of the questions that we have for you today as far as like you as a person, and I look forward to getting to know you more over time, especially as we build up this colossus eventually of a podcast session for Luna Ovile. Second in the order will be Bias. Same thing we did with Ranna. Go ahead and take us back in time to when you first started getting into music. Maybe even your first instrument, your first guitar, right? How you, maybe any homework, bands, or projects you did along your journey as a musician. And being that you said you are one of the founding members for Mariontopsy, how you started Mariontopsy. Take it away, sir.
Yeah. I start playing music when I was, I think, 10. Yeah, it's cliche, like people learning guitar, and then after that, I changed to play bass when I was in college, because so many guitarists, and my band need bass player, and okay, I can play bass, something like that. And yeah, when I was when I was 10, I learned guitar because my parents told me like, hey, you have to have a hobbies, because I'm not doing anything when I was young, like just playing with my friend and doing nothing. So my parents like, you have to get a hobbies, or yeah. And I, thinking like, okay, I want to play the music. So my parents suggest me to play guitar, and I learned guitar from my father's friends, and then I start the professional project. I think, yeah, I can say that when I was in college, uh, I start a band called Never Ask More, and that's the metalcore band.
Crackcore.
Huh?
Crackcore.
No, it's not crapcore. It's metalcore. Still metal. Yeah, and then yeah, I met this guy,
Hey,
and I helped him to filling the bass in Mannequin Gortuari. And then yeah, the Mannequin Gortuari not uh not smooth in in uh
in Journey.
in journey, and I left the band, and our ex vocalist Marion also uh ex vocalist from Mannequin Gortuari,
I see.
and we decide to let's make another project.
Oh my god.
Okay, gitu. Yeah, that's pretty complicated, but yeah, it's something like that.
Okay. So you said that you were in you first did a metalcore project, which I think is really fascinating. You
Yeah.
said that project was Never Ask More?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
really? Okay. Well, I'm glad I heard that correctly. And then it was Mannequin Gortuary, which now is
Mhm.
that discontinued under different people, or is that just like was that a one and done? Like, are we not going to be seeing any more from that project?
Sorry?
Is Mannequin Gortuary continuing, or like either Never Ask More or Mannequin Gortuary? Are either of those projects continuing with different people?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, Mannequin
And I can still continue.
still continue.
Okay. Never
And
Ask More then?
Cosmo still.
Yeah, still continue, but we vacuum for
Oh,
for
okay.
I don't know.
I see. Okay. Well, I look forward then to, first I need to hear Never Ask More. But then after that, if that continues to be a thing in the future, maybe that will be the first metalcore band that we host on the show from the Southeast Asian region of the world that we've become so familiar with. So then, alongside that of Riry, you ended up, you were both in Mannequin Gortuary first, and then
Yeah.
you said you wanted to start a less complicated project. um, so then you ended up starting Mariontopsy.
Yeah.
And when would you say all that started? As far as like year, and if you can remember and get us a more defined timeline, maybe even the month or season that Mariontopsy started. I think our audience would like to know that.
Uh, we start Mariontopsy after the mannequin vacuum. Yeah, I think.
2022. At the end, 2022 maybe.
My brain. Yeah,
At the end of
yeah, I think
2022.
2022.
Okay.
Or maybe 2023.
So in that
Okay.
case, yeah, this project's been around for a little bit now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then maybe after the vacuum, maybe only a month, we decide to let's go for another project, and let's go for the new spirit,
Let's go
the
slam
new music style, the new concepts like
Okay.
that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then, 2022, you guys get the project kick-started after the complicated vacuum that was Mannequin Gortuary. Did I hear correctly
Yeah.
earlier? You said that there was an original vocalist for Mariontopsy that might have even gone by the name of Marion? I thought
Marion?
I thought I heard that earlier, like as if the band was named after the original vocalist or something. I'm like, wait, what? That's interesting. Maybe I misheard that.
Ya, dari mana Marion?
That inspired by Marionetka. Marionetka is
A doll?
mannequin, like
Boneka.
no, human replica. If you know, yeah, like a doll.
Yeah, doll.
Yes.
Oh,
Marion is a human replica, maybe. Like,
Yeah, doll.
yeah.
Doll.
okay.
So Marion and Opsy is just like suffix for identity is a brutal death metal band. So if you know Analepsy,
Yeah.
like Cardiotopsy, so Mariontopsy, Marion is a doll, like a replica of human, and Topsy is just a suffix for identity. Our band is slamming brutal death metal like that.
Right. Okay. So, Marion then, that's meant to be more of like a casual name. And then Topsy is supposed to establish the brutal death metal identity or subgenre. Yeah? Okay. So, in that case, BAs, do you remember when you acquired your first bass guitar and who maybe helped you acquire that instrument or your first instrument in general?
My first instrument in general is guitar.
Right, right. So in that case, do you
Yeah.
remember who helped you acquire that and like, maybe the model of the guitar, the type, or even brand?
Oh, I know. I think that's the custom guitar, and the model is Stratocaster. The Stratocaster, very very blues guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, speaking as one of the founding members of Mariontopsy, most likely along Riry,
Yeah.
what do you think, other than the vacuum that was Mannequin Gortuary, what do you think motivated you to end up starting this project?
Yeah. You know, when when the mannequin is vacuum, we still have the fire inside. We still have the spirit. So
Let's
yeah,
continue.
yeah.
With the current band.
We just think about let's do again. like yeah, the spirit, the fire still burning in our, and we can stop. We love to play glam. We love to play brutal death metal music, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
And when the shit happened, we still thinking about it, and yeah, let's fucking go.
Right, right. Like no hesitation. Let's restart something else. And it's almost like maybe what's a good analogy for this? Maybe Mannequin Gortuary was a stick of incense, I guess, on a countertop that had already been. You know what? No, a better fucking analogy would be a blunt. And this is the reason why. So, Mannequin Gortuary, green in its discography, pretty sophisticated, pretty heavy. Newer project, so you're hoping there's going to be a newer fire under it. Complications arise, and maybe you get to the end of that blunt. And now you're smoking like the hash. You're smoking the ashy bits at the very, very end. You're like, well, what do we do other than get a new blunt? Like, get a whole fucking new blunt. And so far, Mariontopsy seems to be that brand new blunt, that brand new green, that hopefully will last longer, if not exponentially longer. And maybe the strain that Mannequin Gortuary had in the paper wasn't that great. So now you have like a more earthy, more green, more like hydrated strain packed into that blunt. And this is stoner talk. I can't believe I'm doing stoner talk on the Anatomy Crosscast. But now I can like appreciate marijuana a little bit more. Now, with with Mariontopsy, you have officially found a better strain. You've found a better green, and maybe one that will last you a lot longer. If not, you just bought it in bulk and you're like, you know what, for every blunt, that'll be at least like an album or so. But still, it's like when you're trying to reignite that passion, complications arise in another project. Yeah, that I think is a reasonable excuse to try to restart under a new name, almost like a new alias too, or a new identity. And you're like, okay, let's go ahead and restart our life in another country, as per any FBI agent character in a story trying to disappear and like get away from the big man, get away from Big Brother and the government, and just live a life in isolation and quiet. Naturally, you're going to want to change identities and just disappear, never to be seen again. Bum, bum, bum. But in that case, wonderfully said, sir, and I appreciate your answer to the question. Continuing then, perhaps we're attempting to continue off of our location questionnaire earlier. And this is just in regards again to Indonesia, but maybe because of the context you were asking it before regarding the scene, what are some things about the Indonesian scene that you think my audience has yet to know and that they should know today on the 12th of January? BAs.
Well, Indonesian metal scene is very huge in Southeast Asia. You know, like in Metal Archive, we have Indonesia have I think a more than 2,000 metal band.
Damn.
Yeah, and then and in Indonesia is we have a lot of death metal band, slam band, like brutal death metal band. I think Indonesia is uh very like the land of death metal in Southeast Asia.
Honestly, yeah. That's another reason why I've been trying to tether my show to Indonesia so much in recent years, is because there seems to be such an overabundance of like prolific bands in the slam, brutal death metal, and deathcore world that there's like no shortage of possible conversations to be had with each of these musicians on an individual basis. And not only that, but musicians who are hungry to get onto podcasts, hungry to have these conversations, and then, well, as per the nature of podcasts, have a conversation for people to listen to. Even if, maybe, because English is such a complicated language on a worldwide scale, maybe English isn't the primary language of some of these members in some of these bands. It doesn't really matter to me. Some of the best bands in Indonesia, their members aren't confident enough to come onto camera and speak and talk with me about these things. Nonetheless, I always want to encourage that. And not only that, but if nothing else, like have Google Translate ready to go. That way, if you have difficulties saying anything, you can just speak it into your phone and I can get a monotone Siri. Just like, I like Shadow of Intent. Ben Dur is one of my favorite vocalists. Like, even if that ends up being the side effect of it, that's completely okay with me. Because that means that you wanted to attempt to surpass the obstacle of a language barrier to like have a conversation with me, and I always will appreciate that. So yeah, it definitely seems to be one of the death metal capitals of the world, and that's why another reason I've been so fascinated with it. But other than that, are there any bands you think that maybe I don't know about in the Indonesian scene that I should know about?
Yeah, you have to listen Death for Me. They are legendary in our hometown. And then like Vortex of Hatred. Yeah, you have to listen them. The death metal. I think that's death metal.
Death metal.
Yeah, they are death metal. And then so many
So many fans.
so many bands
So many.
in Indonesia, and they're great and they are cool.
Well, if you can't immediately think of them right now, that's okay. What we will have and what we will do at the end of this crosscast, like closer to the album releasing, I'll actually just have you recommend me a whole bunch of bands you would want to see on the show anyway. So if you can't think of them right now, you can either DM me in between all of these dates of recording, or, when you're like, yo, here's another band. But similar way that I asked Ranna, what are 5 albums or even 5 bands that have been in your rotation as of recently?
5 bands.
5 bands.
Dying Fetus.
Okay.
The new album. I Beg Them Suffer. I think. Yeah. That's the record. Yeah. I I like.
They Will Beg for Death, I think, is their latest album. Dying Fetus, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then mm, from Indonesia, I listen Death Squad,
Okay.
the old album, the Horror Vision album. For me, it's very nostalgic, very the riff. I love the composition of the songs of the album. And then mm, Suicide Asylum. I listen to them. The the album, the cleansing.
Okay.
The Suicide Silent. I think that's the first album or what,
It's
the cleansing.
it's one of their first like popular or like breakthrough albums because I think that came out before No Time to Bleed. If not, it came like right after No Time to Bleed. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. For me, very like they still have the slam groove, the slam riff, and I like it. And then Suicide Silent. Wow, I listen so many music and it's so damn. Oh, the Analepsy. I love Analepsy.
Okay.
What's the album? Quenching
Quish.
I forget that name. Like
To have to pronounce
the
Variations.
for album and
The last album.
yeah, the last yeah, very very groove,
Variations.
very they heavy riff. I love Analepsy. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Sweet. Well, in that case, with it being now 55 minutes into session, I think that will be the end of the first part of this Crosscast. Most likely next, breaking this Crosscast into two parts, will be us telling the story of Riry, and then we will dive into the band questionnaire. Might be today, might be tomorrow. We'll see. We'll be right back. All right.
No worries.
No worries indeed, right? It is currently 9:18 a.m. for me on the 12th of January. Okay, it is getting considerably late for the gentleman in Mariontopsy, a new slam/brutal death metal band we are welcoming onto the show. We've already told the story of drummer Ranna and one of the founding members, Bies. Now, concluding the people part of the questionnaire, we learn as much as possible as we can about Riry, one of the other founding members of this project. So, hope we're all doing well and are continuing to do well. And I do appreciate you guys' patience in participating in this show, and not only that, but taking all the time that you already have to participate. So, let's go ahead and dive right into the people part of the questionnaire for Riry, as this will be the final member that we interview today. And who knows, maybe we can get something arranged to where we can get the rest of the members from the lineup also on the show sometime before that of the release of their upcoming album, Luna Ovile, coming out February 10th through Pathologically Explicit Recordings, a record label or collection, means of distribution for music based in Spain. Riry, go ahead and take us back in time, sir, and tell us about the very beginning of your musical journey, any side projects you had along the way, maybe some side hobbies that you have outside of music, and your journey up until co-founding Mariontopsy. Take it away, sir.
I start to listen music maybe when I born, because my grandpa is musician, but traditional musician. He play gamelan, if you know. So, but I playing guitar maybe when I'm in senior high school, maybe I forget it. But my first band start from rock band, just a rock band, not a metal band. I'm a vocalist, play like music like, if you know past band from Indonesia, like that. And I start to listen metal music. Start from new metal like Slipknot, thrash metal like maybe Pantera and all that. So when I listen the first of album of Abominable Putridity, I want to this music is very sick, so I must make a band like this. So I make my first metal band in 2006 maybe, called Dead Artery. That's my first band. I play guitar and my journey begin. I make other band, and yes, like BS journey. I play with this band Mannequin Gortari with BS, and we have some problem in our journey, but we keep the spirit. We keep, and I have a concept to make a new band. So okay, I invited BS. Come on, we must make a new band. We must make a new project. So yeah, we make a Mariontopsy in 2022, and after
Understood.
and maybe actually Mariontopsy is terinspirasi. Inspired by my novel draft. So I'm writing a draft novel, make a fiction character called Luna, and all Luna file is journey of Luna.
Okay.
So yeah, with this concept, with this we make Mariontopsy,
Okay.
and we go until now.
Sweet. So what I'm understanding is not only is Luna like the character on the cover of the album, upcoming February 10th released album, Luna Ovile, but Luna will also be the acting mascot, the main character that is at the forefront of the narrative that the discography and the songs are based on from this point on. Like, Luna is you guys' mascot. That's like the main character of this band.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We don't really have many bands doing that in this scene. I welcome that type of shit, for sure. So I look forward to seeing how Luna and her story then ends up piecing together as time goes on. After all, I remember seeing the merch designs that you guys had. I'm like, they do have a consistent character going on these shirts. So like, are they just trying to tap into the anime slam shit with like Within Destruction and was it Yandere Chainsaw Regurgitation Factory, Dehumanizing and Tetrian Worship? Like, totally thought you guys were just tapping into the more casual sides of anime slam, but no, you guys are actually constructing a narrative, which is really cool. And not only that, but it seems to be more sophisticated than just someone with their tatas out and like riding a chainsaw or with a chainsaw as a hand. So I mean, I love to see that, and yeah, I look forward then to lyrically dissecting Luna Ovile if we get the opportunity here too on the Anatomy Crosscast. So, Riry, as far as your recent musical rotations, usually I will ask this in the context of what inspired you to write what you did for Luna Ovile, as now it is preparing to release in less than a month. But I want to get a little bit more personal, okay? And I want to ask you, just like I did the other gentleman today, about your, I would say, rotation of music within the last year. You've already mentioned some bands, but what are some bands that you think you were listening to a lot more in the last year because you were fascinated by the musical composition?
Pen. Sing property. Let me think. Maybe Analepsy. I listen all of their album, Organic Tommy from New Zealand, and yeah, I'm listen all of Organic Tommy album. Tommy like Cerebral Effusion.
Physical Disorders.
Physical Disorders. I like Physical Disorders. Axiomatic, Dehumanization, and
Extermination.
Extermination, Dismemberment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, those are definitely some good bands to quote. Extermination, Dismemberment. I almost had the opportunity to see them live a couple years ago, but my buddy wanted to leave the show early. And right as we were leaving the show, it was like Gore Pit was coming on. I'm like, motherfucker, you really had us leave during the song you liked the most by this band, but okay. And then we left. But that was when it was Ingested, Devourment, Organectomy, and a couple other ones coming through town. That would have been a damn good show to stay for. But we just ended up not staying for it. So, other than that, other than all the questions we've already asked, do you have any hobbies outside of music that you partake in? Anything that you enjoy doing other than perhaps the financial backbone that allows you to do what you do for Mariontopsy? Or, without getting too personal, where does your financial backbone come in for this band? Like, what do you do outside of music? That way you can continue doing music. Because I think people should understand that behind every musician is someone who works tirelessly to make sure that they can continue to create. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My hobbies outside the music. Actually, I'm very love of football. I'm playing football, but not for now because my physique is not sport. I'm too old to play football now.
Unless you got into some competitive shit.
But I'm still love football. Yeah.
Okay.
Outside the music, I'm playing football, but not for now. And I'm a gamer.
You're a gamer.
I like
Okay.
playing game. Yeah, I'm playing gamer. I'm playing a strategy game. Like if you know Stardew Valley, one person shooter maybe. Like
First person.
PUBG Mobile, PUBG PCS, yeah, first person shooter.
Okay.
Arena Breakout, I like that, and military simulation like Arma Reforger, if you know, yeah, and Escape from Tarkov. Yeah, I like the game. I'm very I love game.
Okay. Hell yeah. No, that's awesome. So, yeah, you definitely do have some things that you enjoy doing outside of music. And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Not only having a job, that way you can financially support your ambitions in being a musician, but having something that you enjoy outside of music. If you have music be your whole identity, absolutely. That is what a lot of normal, non-creative, non-musician people warn. When someone, for example, is romantically interested in the drummer, right? They're like, don't get with the drummer. That's a bad idea. It's like, well, why not? Well, if their whole personality is them drumming, well, you know, the joke goes that they're bound to, not that it's funny, but, you know, dark humor, mind you. They are bound to be more like prone to beating people let alone their romantic partner. Like, that's kind of the fucked up joke behind it. But nonetheless, it's good to not make music your whole personality, even if it is a big part of your identity. That's why when I'm not attempting to make music, you know, I'm a music journalist or I'm a logo designer. I'm trying to create stuff very similar to Luna Ovile's album cover, but with like real people, I guess. It's weird. But nonetheless, having multiple means to express yourself is important. So it's a good thing that you have gaming and football. I never thought I'd hear football. I thought that would be more of a thing for Ranna, because it would be another means for him to harness his feet for fucking blast beating and shit. He's like, okay, gotta shuffle the legs, you know, fucking. But that's awesome. And I do believe then that maybe the last thing I would want to ask you as a person, for the people part of the questionnaire, Riry, would be in regards, again, to Indonesia. Anything that you think that people should know about either the country or the scene that you've begun involving yourself in through that of Mannequin Gortuary and Mariontopsy. Like, what are some of the things that you've learned about the Indonesian scene that you think is different than other metal scenes around the world, and from your personal experience?
Okay. I think local scene in Indonesia and Yogyakarta is very, very supportive for my band and for the other band. So I think we can grow up a better. So with the supportive local scene, more gigs, more metalhead, yeah, we can grow up better as a band or as a personal player.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I mean, like I've been claiming in all the sessions that I've hosted, Indonesian artists, Malaysian artists, that's one thing that I've always heard, is that the scene is very well sewn together, and that all of the bands recognize each other, all of the bands support each other. There's no sense of elitism in Indonesia, not really. Even with the dark, more cultic black metal projects, maybe, they probably just have their own entire society, entire world inside of the Indonesian or Southeast Asian music scene, where, you know, they hide in the shadows or something, but they're still very, very well interconnected. And that's I love that. I love to hear that about an entire country's music scene. It's great. So that will be the end of the people part of the questionnaire. And now we get into the more depersonalized band part of the questionnaire. Now, more or less, we have answered the first more clickbaity question of where the name Mariontopsy came from, but perhaps whether from Bies or Riry here in chat today, or maybe even Ranna in a different way. Do you guys have any other commentary you would want to provide as to where the name Mariontopsy came from? Maybe there is some funny stories behind the band name, or is what you've provided already about what there is to provide for context for the band name?
Wait. Yeah, he made the name, and he's the owner of the concept. You know, like, I let him to answer.
Mariontopsy always,
You know,
so yeah, Mariontopsy is from two words maybe, Marion and Topsy. Marion is it means marionette in Russia, or marionette in English, and it means replica of or doll maybe, yeah. And actually, the meaning is look like mannequin Gortuary. So mannequin is marionette, yeah. So and then Opsy in the behind of the name is just suffix for identity our band. we are brutal death metal. We are slamming brutal death metal. So Mariontopsy is Marion and Topsy with to identity our band
Right.
like that.
Easy. Very, very easy then. So after that, question 2 dives into it a little bit more, I think, and in a really fun way. What do you think makes Mariontopsy different from other bands in Indonesia under the genre or subgenre of brutal death metal? What makes Mariontopsy different from these other bands?
I think we are pretty fresh in Indonesian brutal death metal scenes because we not only talk about speed, but we also talk about the groove, the dynamic when we playing the music, and we have the concept. So the album it's like a story, it's like a novel, it's like like we have the main character, and I think I never found the concept like this in Indonesia. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I think it's pretty fresh from Indonesian scenes.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, honestly, other than projects like Makhluk, where, for one, it's only one person.
Yeah.
It's only one person doing all the instrumentals, and then he has the consistent theme of the Dunia Lane and this character called Makhluk, who is just a self-proclaimed king of the Dunia Lane. Other than that, there aren't really any other bands who have consistent themes, let alone a full lineup to push, motivate, and encourage a consistent narrative theme amongst their releases. So in that context, other than that of Makhluk, yes, I would agree that Mariontopsy and its narrative focus not only is original to bands that have emerged from the tropical woodwork of Indonesia, but other than Indonesia, speaking for the world stage for metal, it allows Mariontopsy in the future to be associated with bands such as, and not limited to, Distant from the Netherlands, who have created and scripted entire books themed off of their music. Other bands, like Slaughter to Prevail, originally from Russia, now all located in Florida. Similar thing, with a narrative inspired by Berserk, but later turned into something a little bit more original, and then comic books made and released. Bands like Brand of Sacrifice, which their entire marketing niche is based off of Berserk. But, for legal purposes, they don't say, we are a Berserk-themed deathcore band. Like, you can't really... They understood over time as they got bigger that they wouldn't be able to do that. So then, of course, they have tracks alluding to an already existing narrative, but they did their best to make it their own. I think that's a start. But I think in the future, Mariontopsy could be compared to these bands that also then inspired this show in the first place, because we are all about narrative. We are all about investing in a narrative continuity. The more that we are able to accomplish this goal, I think the more people will understand the world building inside of worlds that I want to do, band by band, session by session, therefore making music history by assembling an entire library worth of lore and different stories that these bands are making, Mariontopsy being one of them now. To each of you, what is the most important part about writing a new Mariontopsy song? And this doesn't have to isolate the answer to the context of Luna Ovile. But maybe when you guys were first starting to make songs, what were some more simple means to, okay, this is what makes a Mariontopsy song, and what are the more complicated parts about writing these tracks? Take it away, guys.
First time. Take your time.
Bingung gue. Jelasin deh.
Wait.
Waiting. Wes, katakan yes.
When we start to make the album, first of all, we think about the story.
Yeah, maybe the story first.
Yeah. We're thinking about the story, the main character, Luna. And we start to imagine the suasana apa sih?
Vibes.
Yeah, the vibes of the Luna universe, and we start thinking about the storyline of the Luna's life, and after that we make the music. Sorry, I little bit forget about the timeline about how we make music.
Right. No, you're
Because
fine.
it's
Yeah, it's been a long time.
it's been a long time ago.
No, that's fair.
Please help me. Please help me.
Bingung kan lah menjelaskan how to describe.
Help me.
Oke. Mendeskripsikan ya kita memulai dengan demo.
Konsep.
Ya, dengan konsep. Kita mulai dengan konsep, terus ya kita coba saling mencari review yang pas lah. Kayak gitu. Ya, intinya kayak gitu. Kayak mendeskripsikan review. Mendeskripsikan review.
So basically, it comes from the concept first.
Yeah.
And then the guys like try out riffs and see if it goes well. And that's basically it.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's definitely a good way to summarize everything. And I mean, that's usually how a band works when you're not making music all by yourself, which naturally takes a lot longer sometimes in the example of Makhluk or any of the other solo musicians that we've hosted on the show. When you're working with multiple people, sometimes it's just a fact of figuring out what you both enjoy and then making entire songs off of that. But most importantly, between two guitarists, bouncing riffs off of one another. So, yeah, fair enough. Ranna, when it came to beginning to write music or start writing drum patterns and performing drum patterns in a studio sense, in a recording sense, with all of the knowledge that you accumulated, listening and being inspired by bands like Nile, Suffocation, Obscura, and Thy Art Is Murder, when it finally came time to cracking down on the set for Mariontopsy, was there anything that you could quote to us as far as imagery or sensation in feeling the drum patterns for these songs?
I think it's rather groovy and heavy.
So you had to focus on the groovy and the heavy when it came to writing these drum parts.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and speed also.
Speed, yeah.
Those are the methods.
Okay. Now, in that case, we crawl closer and closer to the Under the Skin experience for that of this upcoming record, Luna Ovile. And Under the Skin is our track-by-track lyrical segment. Now, who was responsible for the lyrical writing of that record? Was it you guys as vocalist?
The lyrics are made by him because it's the lyric. All the lyric is from the novel, the draft novel that that he made.
Wonderful.
So
okay.
Yeah,
In that case, we can.
he made it.
Yeah. And see, that's
That
why
means I'm trying to translate my novel to slam brutality and music in lyrics. Yes, like that.
No, it's wonderful. And I always like to ask before I assume that, for example, we're capable of doing Under the Skin, because who knows, the vocalist could still have his own rendition of the novel that Riry has been putting together all this time. But for O Luna Vile coming out February 10th, out through Pathologically Explicit Recordings. I almost said pathological suffering or something like that, but that's a different thing. 2 final questions for all 3 of the members of Mariontopsy present with us tonight, their time, as I'm pretty sure it's midnight for you guys now, and I appreciate your patience. 1, what did you think of the Anatomy Crosscast as an interview experience? Did you have any negative critique? Now is your opportunity to speak upon what you thought of this show.
Wow. I think it's great. First of all, thank you for having us.
Yeah, this is our first experience podcast.
I'm doing a podcast. Our first experience. I think it's good. Thank you for you searching the band like us, because the small band need the place for publication, for promotion, like that.
Absolutely.
I think I don't have any critic for your podcast. It's very great.
Yeah, me too.
It's
cool, man. It's cool. No critics.
Okay.
Good.
All right, Ranna, did you have
Carry
anything to say? Oh yeah, of course we'll carry on.
I'd like to say a big thanks to you, and I think you're doing a amazing thing. How do you say? Highlight bands from all around the country, I guess.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and we'll be doing that until the end of time. So, as per the exclusively positive critique and review of the show and their experience, despite it being midnight for them right now. Last but not least, recommendations. Who do you guys want to see, either from Indonesia or somewhere else around the world, on the Anatomy Crosscast here in the near future? And we'll go ahead and utilize that to mention them in the post once we have this session up and running to go, as well as, hopefully then future conversations. I think it makes for more authentic slingshots, and it's because you listen to this conversation, you might as well jump over to this one too. So, in that context, what bands would you guys recommend to the show and why?
I think Vortex.
Vortex of Hatred.
Vortex of Hatred? Okay. Where are they from?
Same city as us, Yogyakarta, Indonesia.
Okay. That sounds fucking sick, actually.
They just released their album Galat last year.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting because they have the concept, uh, the different concept than general death metal, and I think it's very good to be in your podcast.
Okay. And I just noticed this actually, but maybe this is the reason you guys were recommended to my FYP and the reason we had the conversation we did today. I just realized that you guys had vocalist Aeto Oni Mit of
Oh yeah,
Gia Cookie, um,
yeah,
Yeah.
which I'm trying to get my first Japanese slam band on the show like as soon as possible because I might be
yeah,
traveling to Japan by June of this year to do like possibly up to a 2-year student visa and just become more fluent in Japanese, move over there for a little bit. So if y'all could reach out to Aeto for me and see if we can get I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm pretty sure I am. Gyakuki. Gyakuki. Gyakuki.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, cookie.
There we go. I was like, that didn't sound right. Like Gyakuki. Like, no, they're not
Yeah.
fucking pastry. Okay, so we got Vortex of Hatred. We got Gyakuki, possibly. Who else did you mention? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's for me.
Death for Me.
Death Vomit.
Just for me. That,
Okay, sick. And yeah, it does seem that Vortex of Hatred did release pretty recently.
Yeah,
I like their logo. Let's see, the album cover for Galat is pretty sick.
Kala.
Okay. Yeah, that looks actually really, really cool. And then, yeah, just be sure to, for any of the bands that you would recommend to the show, go ahead and send me a link in the Instagram DMs at the Anatomy Crosscast with these bands and literally any others that you would recommend there for after the show. But that at least gives us 3 different bands that you've mentioned in session. And ladies and gentlemen, everything possibly in between here on the Anatomy Crosscast at 10:14 a.m. I do believe that will be the end of our Crosscast for now. Like I said, this session will be uploading February 10th, the day of premiere for their new album. And hopefully I can convince the guys to send me O Luna Vile early. That way I can not only listen to this, provide my critique over on my bigger platform of Sean Cross, but maybe perhaps there is an opportunity for commission, some background gameplay of either deep space combat, zombies combat in Call of Duty. The options are there now. So hopefully we can make that happen. Hopefully we can get some opportunities rolling here pretty soon. But other than that, I do believe that will be the end of this Anatomy Crosscast session. We'll see you guys in February. And just like the great eternal music machine, let's keep cranking, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.